Chapter 7. Chase walked through the doors of the lookout for the first time in years. When he saw these others, he smiled. Rocky and Rubble were facing away from him. Ryder, Marshall, and Zuma were facing them. "Do you two know why today is a special day?" Ryder asked. "Yeah," Rubble said. "It's the day that Chase died 5 years ago." Chase was shocked. Was it today? He thought. "Well, yes, but today is more special for another reason," Ryder explained. Rocky and Rubble tilted their heads in confusion. "What do you mean, Ryder?" Ryder lifted his hand and swayed his finger in a circular motion, implying that he wanted them to turn around. When they turned around, their jaws dropped. Chase stood tall, and in his best impersonation of Chala, he said, "As you can see, I am not dead." 10. Rubble and Rocky couldn't move. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. The German shepherd that they thought had died years earlier was standing in front of them, smiling. But seeing his size, they took a step back. Chase noticed this and smiled. "No need to worry, guys," he said in a soothing voice. "I would never hurt any of you." The pup tag of Rocky and Rubble rang, thanks to Ryder, that brought them back to reality. "Chase," Rubble said. He ran over and hugged him. "I can't believe you're not dead." Chase laughed and hugged Rubble back. "Yeah, me too, Rubble. How have you been holding up?" "I'm good, Chase," Rubble replied. "I could tell," Chase said. "You look stronger." "Thanks to you," Rubble explained. "Me?" "Yeah, Chase. Ever since the incident, I convinced myself that I had to get stronger because that would be what you would want from me." "Well, I'm glad that you never gave up." Chase walked over to Rocky and hugged him. "Rocky, how have you been?" "I have been pretty busy, honestly," Rocky confessed. "But I'm good. What about you?" 1. "I'm good," Chase replied. "I'm just glad to be back." At that moment, Marshall's pup tag rang. "Well, I gotta get going," he said aloud. He hugged Chase one last time. "Thanks for coming back." 1. "I'll always come back," Chase responded. 3. "Good," Marshall said. "Well, I have to get going. I can't wait to tell Everest the news." Marshall began running to his fire truck but stopped at the entrance. He looked down and picked something up. After looking at it for a second, he turned around and walked over to Chase. "You too?" 4. Chase was confused by this question. "What?" he asked. He looked at what Marshall had in his paw. It was the photo of him, Angel, and Junior at the beach. "Oh, no, it's..." Chase was interrupted by Marshall's pup tag ringing again. 1. "Well, we will have to finish this conversation later," Marshall said, winking at Chase as he passed the photo to him. He ran off and got into his fire truck. He turned on the engine and drove. 2. "Why is he leaving?" Chase asked. He looked at the others, but they were all smiling. "What?" "You'll see at the party tomorrow," Ryder explained. "What party?" Chase, Rubble, and Rocky asked at the same time. "Haven't you heard?" Zuma replied. "Mayor Goodway is going to be throwing a beach party to celebrate the return of Chase." "I wasn't expecting a party," Chase said. "And we weren't expecting you to show up and save Skye, but here we are," Ryder said. He looked around the lobby. "Where is Skye, anyways?" "She went to her pup house," Chase said. "Maybe you should go talk to her," Ryder replied. "You have no idea how much Skye missed you." "You missed her, right?" 3. Of course, I missed her, Chase said. But right now, I feel like she doesn't want to see me. Ryder could tell by Chase's expression that he didn't want to talk about it, and he respected that. All right, Chase, Ryder said. He looked down at his watch. Well, it's going to be time to sleep soon. Let's start getting everything ready. Chase, do you want to sleep in the guest room? I'm good, Ryder, thanks, Chase replied. I think I will sleep in my pup house tonight. I haven't slept in my pup house in what seems like forever. That's fine, Ryder said. They started picking up the stuff that was scattered on the floor, putting everything where it goes. This is what you expected on your first day back, right? Zuma asked sarcastically. Cleaning the lookout? Chase laughed. Oh, yeah, he replied sarcastically, cleaning was one of the things I missed most of all. They all laughed. 1. They finished cleaning as soon as it was time to go to sleep. The Paw Patrol members said goodnight to each other as they headed off to their beds. Chase entered his pup house and laid down. He enjoyed the smell of his pup house. It gave him a secure, safe feeling. But there was a problem. Chase couldn't fall asleep. He tried twisting and turning, but it was no use. His mind was racing, and his eyes didn't stay close. Finally, he decided to get up. Chase walked a bit and ended up at a familiar place. He passed a tree and looked over a cliff that overlooked the entire town. But he couldn't believe what he saw. In front of him was a grave. 1. Engraved on the grave were some words: Chase loved brother, best friend, family, and hero 2013 to 2021. 6. Multiple objects were in front of the grave. Chase's old stuffed bear, Officer Bear, was also among the things. There were blue and yellow flowers, some old, some new, and some artificial ones, notes, some from Liberty and others from Adventure City, and photos of Chase with many different people. One of the notes was from Alex. It came with him and Chase exiting the dentist's office. You are the reason I face my fears, read the note that came with it. You taught me to be strong and brave, even if we are afraid. I am so glad that I knew you. I miss you, Chase. We all miss you. A photo that stuck out to Chase was one of him and Skye. Chase remembered that they were playing frisbee that day. The frisbee was up high, so Chase jumped to catch it, but Skye caught it before him. She landed on his back after she caught the frisbee. All first, Chase was shocked, but they ended up laughing about the situation. Chase sat down in front of the grave. It was a lot to take in. He couldn't believe that he agreed to leave them all. He felt guilty. Hopefully, he got the chance to make it up to all of them. He just had to. Author's note. Chapter 8. Chase was still sitting in front of the grave when someone started walking up. Without even looking, Chase asked, "Why right here?" "What?" Skye asked. "Why is my grave here? There is a cemetery not far from town. Why is my grave here on this cliff?" "Because this grave is special," Skye replied softly. She sat down right next to him. Skye looked at him, but his eyes stayed on the grave. She was a bit sad about that. This is not an average grave, Chase. This grave was the grave of a hero. This grave was your grave. But why here? Because we knew that this cliff was perfect for it. We have all seen you here. We talked about it a lot. After everyone had gone to sleep, you were right here. Once in a while, one of us couldn't sleep, so we decided to walk around to tire ourselves out. We would always find you here on this cliff, facing the bay. You sat right here with your eyes closed, in a world of your own. None of us knew why. I remember that, Chase said, smiling. Sometimes, I would catch you walking around. Exactly, Chase, and instead of sending us back to sleep, you would always ask us why we were up, Skye continued. If something bothered us, or we needed some guidance, you were there for us. Chase's smile faded. Until I wasn't. Skye didn't know what to say. Why did you leave? She asked. Chase just looked over the grave and stared at the moon. The moon was full that night, and moonlight streaks covered the waves in the bay. That's a story for another time. Skye could tell that Chase didn't want to talk about it, so she didn't push him. But what I can tell you is that I will make it right, Chase added. 1. I know you will, Skye responded. She yawned and leaned her head against Chase, and closed her eyes. Chase was shocked by the act, but he didn't say anything. Chase stared out into the distance, remembering all the moments he had in that spot. He remembered how he found Skye in that spot many years ago. Plus, after half an hour, Chase realized that Skye had fallen asleep. Chase picked her up and took her back to her pup house. He laid Skye down on her bed and was about to go back to his when he noticed something next to her bed. After further inspection, Chase realized that it was his old police hat. Chase recognized that it was the hat, burned in one of the corners, as the one he lost in the fire. Skye had held on to it after all those years. Chase picked it up and examined it. Other than the burn in the corner, that hat seemed to be well preserved. There was no dust on it, and the police logo seemed to have gotten cleaned recently. 1. What have I done? Chase asked himself softly. I never should have left. He left the hat on Skye's bed, which she grabbed and held onto it, and left her pup house and went into his. He fell asleep soon after. Chase woke up early the following morning. He looked around and smiled. He was glad that he was back. Chase looked to his side and found a black collar. It had a blue pup tag with a star in the middle. Chase looked outside to see if anyone was around. He turned to his right and noticed Ryder as he disappeared into the lookout. Chase put on his pup tag and walked out of the door. Immediately, he got a call from Ryder. Chase, can you wake everyone up, please? Ryder asked through the pup tag. You can count on me, Ryder, sir, Chase replied. He walked around and woke up the pups. He told them that breakfast was ready. They all ran inside and ate. After breakfast, Chase was walking out of the lookout when someone called after him. Hey, Chase, Skye said. Where are you going? I'm going for a run, Chase replied. It's a habit I got myself into 5 years ago. I go for a short run every day before the day starts. Chase jogged off. The rest of the Paw Patrol looked at each other. What happened in those 5 years? Rubble asked. What do you mean? Marshall asked. Well, I mean, Chase changed, Rubble explained. You can't act like you didn't notice. For one, he is much bigger and stronger. But that came with age, Rocky said. He's also a German Shepherd. He is supposed to be big and strong. I know, but I have seen other German Shepherds before. And Chase is still the biggest one I have ever seen. Heck, he's bigger than Marshall, who is a Dalmatian, and Everest, who is older than him. 2. Now that you mention it, he does seem more responsible, Rocky added. Like he has become a father. 10. Maybe, Marshall said, but Chase has always been the most responsible of us all. What do you think, Ryder? Ryder picked up the photo of Chase, Angel, and Junior from a nearby table. I don't know, guys, he responded. We'll have to ask him about it. 3. 10 minutes later, Ryder got a call. He answered the call, saying, Ryder here. I need the Paw Patrol, Captain Turbot said through the call. What's wrong, Captain Turbot? Ryder asked. I was using the crane on the flounder to load a few boxes on board when one of the boxes fell. Wally's tail was under the box when the box landed on it. He might be hurt because there was a heavy, new gauge inside the box. I'm pretty sure something broke as well. We need your help. Don't worry, Captain Turbot, no job is too big, no pup is too small, Ryder exclaimed. He hung up and extended his pup pad. He pressed a button that called the dogs. Paw Patrol, to the lookout. Ryder needs us, they said in unison. They entered the lookout without any crashes. The elevator went up, stopped in the middle so that the dogs could get into their uniform, and then took them up to the top. All the dogs got out of the elevator and got into their position. Paw Patrol, ready for action, Ryder sir, Chase said. He looked down and realized that he didn't have his uniform. Ryder, sir, why don't I have my uniform? He looked to his sides and noticed the others shift their weight. None of them would look him in the eye. I'm sorry, Chase, Ryder said. Sorry? Chase asked. Sorry about what? You're not on the team. We don't trust you yet. 11. Author's note: I am dedicating this chapter and chapter 3 to Spark Commands 099.